up, we'll tell you how IMPD is getting a boost from the feds in their effort to crack down on gun violence.
We're not waiting on anyone. We're taking the initiative to get out here and do things on our own in our own community.
A new community park on the far northeast side is now complete, while the leader it's named after says it's a symbol of hope for this neighborhood.
Fast Friday gets really fast. Speeds going way up on a hot day of Indy 500 practice. We're live at the Speedway as teams get set for qualifying weekend.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Tonight, WRTV is exploring all sides of a major new announcement.
He was known as Little Man. 10-year-old Deshaun Swanson dreamed of being a basketball player, but his life was cut short by gun violence. Now, a renewed effort to solve that 2015 case is part of a larger surge within criminal justice. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for information in Swanson's murder as part of Operation Legend, an increase in federal resources to support local law enforcement. Leaders say it's meant as a response to the increase in gun violence Indianapolis has seen in recent years. The plan comes with harsher consequences if you face federal gun charges. U.S. Attorney Josh Minkler did acknowledge there are still many other steps we as a society must take to end this problem.
None of us believe that criminal justice system alone will reduce gun violence. Simply put, we cannot just arrest our way out of this.
Leaders say it will take continued action from the community to get to the bottom of increased shootings. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says he is committed to officers building stronger relationships within the neighborhoods they serve.
And WRTV's Megan Sanctorum spoke with some community members to find out what they think of the partnership and the impact they hope it will have.
Some families impacted by gun violence say the problem has gotten out of control in Indianapolis, so they welcome any new partnerships or resources to try and curb it. This is Naya Cope. She was just 16 years old when she lost her life to what police call a stray bullet.
It was a horrible, horrible night. Very horrible.
Her mom tells us they were visiting Indianapolis from Marion back in May. She says they were on their way to get some food when they heard shots being fired. One of those bullets came into the car, hitting and killing Naya. 3 months later, the case remains unsolved. Naya's mom says she knows they're not the only family going through this, and she says gun violence here is a major issue. She's hopeful that Operation Legend will help make the streets of Indianapolis a little safer.
And I hope they get a lot of the cases solved. I hope they, get more guns off the street and, calm down the violence there, because now it's like, I used to come down there all the time. Now I don't even want to visit.
And she's hoping people will think twice before firing their gun, hopefully preventing another family from experiencing what hers did. As always, anyone with information about this case is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And not everyone is on board with Operation Legend. Indy 10 Black Lives Matter released a statement saying in part that it targets black and brown communities and that it will overwhelm already vulnerable families.
One of the same day Operation Legend is announced more deadly violence. We start with a shooting around this afternoon on the city's northwest side. This happened around 12:20 in the 4600 block of Abington Way. That's near 47th and Candletree Drive. The male victim was pronounced dead at the scene.
Metro Police are also investigating a deadly shooting that killed 2 people on the city's west side. This happened around 1:15 this morning on the 3600 block of West Michigan Street. A male and female were pronounced dead at the scene.
And an Indianapolis teen died after a shooting in Fishers last night. It happened around 9:45 in the parking lot of Best Choice Fieldhouse at 116th Street and Commercial Drive. That's a sports facility. Officers found 2 17-year-old boys who had been shot. The Marion County coroner identified the victim as Thomas Pearson Jr. The identity and condition of the other boy was not available other than he's from Indianapolis and was stable at the hospital. Fishers police believe this was a targeted attack and whoever did it is on the run. And for the second day in a row, new positive cases have coronavirus have topped 1,000. Today's number is even higher than the one reported yesterday. 1,079 more Hoosiers have tested positive. Those results recorded Wednesday and Thursday. The total number of cases is 78,632. After holding steady for about 2 weeks, the overall positivity rate has inched up from 8.8% to 8.9%. 8 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. Those deaths occurred between last Friday and yesterday. The statewide total has now topped 2,900. And new on WRTV News at 5, the U.S. Surgeon General, who is visiting family in Indiana, came with a message. Dr. JEROME Adams is concerned about the upcoming Labor Day week and the possible spike in COVID-19 cases. He says state and health officials believe another activity is contributing to the spread.
Much of the spread is occurring at family gatherings, at picnics, at weddings, at cookouts. And so I want people to know that we can contain and control this virus with the 3 simple measures I mentioned. And the proof of that is New York, hardest hit place in the world. They now have a positivity rate under 1%. They didn't get a vaccine. They don't have a miracle therapeutic. They did it with washing their hands, wearing a face mask, and watching their distance.
Dr. Adams, who is also Indiana's former health commissioner, is visiting family in Adams County. We will have more of our one-on-one interview with Dr. Adams on Monday on Good Morning Indiana, beginning at 6 a.m. right here on WRTV.
After months of citing privacy concerns, the State Department of Health has launched a new public dashboard for nursing homes. This after months of questions from WRTV Investigates. Our Kara Kenny explains how it works and why some say it should have happened sooner.
Charles England, Martha McCullough, and Everett Brown are among the 1,700 residents who've died from COVID-19 at Indiana's long-term care facilities. They all died in May at Ben-Hur in Crawfordsville, when the state was not revealing to the public where people were dying in nursing homes and where outbreaks were happening. But after months of pressure from WRTV Investigates, lawmakers, and AARP Indiana, this week, the state released this long-term care dashboard. It allows you to search by facility. So, for example, put in Ben-Hur. You'll see that they've had no new COVID-19 cases or deaths and have had 18 deaths total. The dashboard allows you to see most of the positive cases date back to April. You can also look at demographics. So at Ben-Hur, the bulk of cases have been female and age 80 and up. For months, the state refused to provide this level of detail to WRTV Investigates, citing privacy concerns. Seema Mohapatra is a healthcare expert and professor at the IU McKinney School of Law.
Well, here it is. It was able to be disclosed all along. I really think that, your efforts and the efforts of other media was really important here.
The dashboard also includes a map allowing you to search for facilities in your area, and the numbers go back to March 1st. It will be updated every Wednesday after the state verifies numbers submitted by nursing homes. Experts hope the state now has a template they can use for future pandemics or health concerns. We created links on how to get to the long-term care dashboard in this story on our website, WRTV.com. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
State officials say it's possible a case may be included at multiple facilities, such as if someone worked at several nursing homes or if a resident was at multiple facilities. However, the state emphasizes each case and death is counted only once in the aggregate state totals.
And Mark, a warm end to the work week. Temperatures did push into the upper 80s again today. Currently in Indianapolis, we're at 86 with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Humidity not too bad, so the feels like temperature, the heat index, actually 85 degrees. We can find some thunderstorms. Extreme northeast Indiana, and then just clinging to the southwest portion of our viewing area, southwest of Bloomfield, northeast of Vincennes. Notice how they're moving really from northeast to southwest, or almost west or east to west, clockwise or counterclockwise around low pressure. Okay, there are the clouds just bubbling up in the afternoon warmth. Temperatures 88 in Lafayette. Most of us will not see any thunderstorms tonight or as we go through the weekend. Watch this, between 7 and 11. The best chance for any additional thunderstorms to pop up will be along the state line with Ohio or down to the south. What we can all expect for the weekend and look ahead to the weekend, or look ahead to next week as well, coming up.
Tonight, children on the far northeast side in a community that is often talked about because of the crime that happens now have a park with a playground in their neighborhood. WRTV's Nicole Griffin is talking to the local leader the park is named after, who says he hopes this sends a message to the kids that there are people who care.
A symbol of hope for the far northeast side. This brand new community park right at the corner of 42nd and Post Road is called the D. Ross Community Park. It's named after the Ross Foundation's leader, D. Ross. I talked to him about what this means for his community.
I represent hope for this community because I'm born and raised in this community, and so I don't want to hear any excuses saying that you can't do it too.
In a neighborhood he loves and a place he works every day to improve, D. Ross now has a community park named after him. But building and funding the park at the Capital City Church of Christ has been a collaborative effort. JD Finish Line Youth Foundation, Kaboom, the Ross Foundation, and the Community Alliance on the Far East Side, all coming together to provide a place for kids to be kids.
These kids deserve to have a park to remember and say, hey, you remember 10, 15 years ago, we was able to play on this park. It kept us out of the streets. It kept us from getting into illegal activity. And so more things like this is how we keep transforming our community.
Kaboom and the JD Finish Line Foundation work together to try to eliminate place-space inequity. And so a lot of kids in areas like this don't have a safe space or a fun space to come and play together, to learn together, imagine, make friends. And so that's what this space will serve.
D. Ross hopes that when community members use the park or drive by, they see this not just as a playground, but a sign that people care about the far northeast side and they feel encouraged to get involved to make this area a safer place to live. Working for you, Nicole Griffin, WRTV.
And Ross says the playground is just phase one of the park. Next, he hopes to get a full basketball court installed. He says he's already in communication with the Pacers to hopefully make that a reality.
Indiana University President Michael McRobbie announced a big decision today about his future. He plans to retire next year. When McRobbie retires in June of 2021, it will be after leading the university for 14 years and a total of 24 years at IU altogether. He made the announcement today via email to faculty, staff, and students, and during today's Board of Trustees meeting. He came to IU in 1997 from his native Australia as the first Vice President for Information Technology and Chief Information Officer. He became IU's 18th president on July 1st, 2007. A presidential search committee will conduct a national search for his successor.
The sounds of Fast Friday practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm Brad Brown, live with our WRTV trackside coverage. About half the teams are really happy with today's results. I'll explain that. There are no fans inside the track, but there are fans at the track. We'll have that story coming up live from IMS.
And we'll talk about our weekend thunderstorm chances and a pattern change, which will bring a couple big changes for next week coming up.
Welcome back. It is Fast Friday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the last day of practice before qualifying this weekend. Drivers and teams getting in some laps ahead of their run for pole position. Brad Brown joins us live at the track. Who's topping the speed charts today, Brad?
Honda, Amanda. That's kind of the short answer as we get into this final full session of practice before qualifying this weekend. The field of 33 is basically 50-50 between Honda engines and Chevy engines, and it's always interesting to see how this plays out. Today we've realized that at this max turbo boost with Jay Givem on Fast Friday, Honda's about 2 or 3 miles an hour faster than Chevy when these cars are running on their own. So that's going to play a big factor when we get to qualifying tomorrow. Show you a little action from earlier. Really the biggest of these stories of the Honda teams is Andretti Autosport. We get a look at Alexander Rossi, the 2016 Indy 500 champion. The Andretti guys have been regularly in the top 10 really all week, and they've dominated the top of the speed chart today, just consistently above 230 miles an hour. Most of these teams gained 7 or 8 mph over what they saw in the previous 2 days, and those numbers could be well up over 230 miles an hour for the top qualifiers on Saturday. Let's take a look at the Quick Six as it stands here in the final 20 minutes of practice. This was the last check just before we checked out here to get get our live shot fired up. You can see that it's Marco Andretti himself at the top, 2:33, the top speed of the day. You can see that Ryan Hunter-Reay is in there in the 4th position. Rossi, who we showed you, is actually in 9th. More than 20 drivers are over 230 miles an hour today. Should be an exciting run for the top spots on the grid Saturday and Sunday when we get into qualifying here at IMS. Now, of course, it's a shame we don't have any fans in here. We know many of you would like to be inside watching the action here and definitely on race day, but that doesn't mean that they aren't watching everywhere here if you go outside the track. We got a closer look at what's happening near the main gate. Inside, the sounds of Indy 500 practice echo around an eerily empty speedway. But for a dedicated handful of fans, they won't let August go by without seeing at least a glimpse of the action.
I needed to hear race cars. It's therapeutic to hear race cars, and I hadn't heard them this year, not live. Missed the Grand Prix, missed the Brickyard, missed everything else that happened out here this year. Everybody needed to hear race cars, and that's why we're here.
Along 16th Street, just outside the IMS main gate, an informal watch party has popped up over the past few days. Their view is a mere sliver of the oval, just a few hundred yards in the middle of the south short chute between turns 1 and 2.
I bought a house in Speedway for that reason, so I could host the race. Usually fans and friends come in from all over the states. Unfortunately, this year kind of threw a wrench in things, but we're still here celebrating and having a good time.
Most of these fans are not first-timers. Everyone we talked to would have been inside the Brickyard on race day.
Grew up about a mile away behind the 3rd turn, or by 30th and Tibbs, and we've been coming here for a long time. Back when the snake pit was a snake pit.
And while everyone's disappointed how this year panned out, they'll all find a way to make the most of this year's race day experience.
It's probably the right call based on everything else that's going on. I hate it to death. That's why we're sitting out here on the opposite side of 16th Street watching a video board rather than sitting inside along Pit Road.
I feel for the local businesses, big moneymaker for everyone. So just trying to give back to them as much as possible and get engaged and still enjoy the time. We still got the race.
By the way, if you want to get in on that, it's first come, first serve over there at 16th and Polko outside gate 2. All right, we've had some great weather out here for 3 days. As we get to qualifying weekend, cooler temperatures would lead to higher speeds, but Kevin Gregory will have the details of what we have in store for Saturday, Sunday, and the days ahead. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Brad. I think we'll wave the green flag. That's the good news. And I got to admit, when I drive on 16th Street every day toward downtown Indianapolis and WRTV, I have to slow down and take a look at that big screen. You can catch the action there. All right, here's my big screen of headlines. The chance for any thunderstorms this evening is low. The best chance eastern and southern portions of the viewing area. I do expect patchy fog to develop tonight and may be dense in spots into Saturday morning. Our below average temperatures will dominate next week. The showers and thunderstorms moving into Knox County now, northeast then of Vincennes, southern portions of Greene County with some rain, south of Interstate 74 toward Versailles. Again, these will be spotty, south and east this evening. It's warm, as Brad alluded to. Temperature 86 in Indy. We've made it a little warmer than that through the day. 88 currently in Terre Haute. Temperatures when you get down to Bedford and Vincennes are low to mid 80s because of the nearby rain. We put this in motion, and any additional thunderstorms will be few and far between tonight. Let's talk about your weekend. Do not change your plans. They may be interrupted at times, but the chance of that is not great. 87 tomorrow, the warmer of the 2 days. 83 on Sunday. There's a slight chance or a marginal risk that we could see a strong thunderstorm or two northwestern third of the state. Damaging wind would be the main threat from the stronger storms. And I'd like to point out, lightning doesn't make a thunderstorm severe, but it does make it dangerous. Once you hear thunder or see the lightning, you should move indoors. Temperatures tomorrow, competitive with today. Back into the middle to upper 80s, a warm one. The shower and thunderstorm chances minimal. normal, but watch to the north and west tomorrow evening. There's the actual cold front. There may be a little line of storms that develops towards Chicago, back into central Illinois and Champaign. We'll see if that can slip into the state tomorrow evening. There are your temperatures on Sunday. The biggest change Sunday, a little bit cooler, but the humidity will be sliding during the afternoon and will be cooling off as we go into early next week with lower humidity. So 84 Monday will feel even better than that because of the low humidity. Lows in the 50s, high temperatures struggling just to get to 80 degrees, and those are our below average temperatures with low humidity, making a great combination. Have a good weekend, everyone.
You too, Kevin. Thank you. You may not be able to get into the track for the race, but you can still get your hands on some souvenirs, including one that you would never expected if not for the events of this year. We'll explain. So many racing fans are missing the traditional Indy 500 experience this year, but you can at least get your hands on some souvenirs. The track has set up merchandise trailers across from Gate 2 on 16th Street. The museum and gift shop are closed when there is 500 track activity, so this way you can still do your shopping. They have traditional shirts, hats, they've got model cars, and more than that. And this year, they also have face masks. A package of 3 goes for $25. They'll be open Saturday and Sunday, 9 to 5, and then again next Friday, which, by the way, is Carb Day and race weekend. The regular gift shop and museum will be open again Monday through Thursday of next week when there is no track activity. There you go. Hey, coming up on the news at 5:30 just ahead, the company expanding in Indiana and needs to hire Hoosiers to fill so many jobs. We've got that for you.